Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GRE out of this book here, practicing to take the GRE general test, the 10th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 280, quantitative comparison, hence the QC, number 13. Let's take a look at it. They tell you that a plus 5 times a minus 5 equals 0, and they tell you that b plus 5 times b minus 5 equals 0. And then they want you to compare these two quantities. B plus 5. Well, the very first thing I want you to understand is that, for example, if I tell you which quantity is bigger here, 3 plus 7 plus 5 or 4 plus 7 plus 5, if you wanted to, you could actually sit there and tell me that 3 plus 7 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, and then here tell me that 4 plus 7 is 11, 11 plus 5 is 16, and then tell me that 16 is more than 15, therefore the second column is bigger. You could do that if you wanted to, but if you were to do that, you will be missing the bloody point of the whole thing, as I keep repeating like a parrot in every clip. These are called quantitative comparison. You are to compare the two quantity, not compute the bloody thing. Here, 3 plus 7 is 10 plus 5 is 15. I'm computing it, not comparing them. This is how you compare them. I see a 5 here, I see a 5 there. That 5 plays no role. In other words, I can just cross it out. In other words, if I had another one, minus 9 on both sides, that 9 would have played no role too, because I'm subtracting whatever this quantity is, we're subtracting 9 from it. Whatever this quantity is, we're subtracting 9 from it, and that 9 plays no role. I see a 7 here, and I see a 7 here. That plays no role. So basically I'm comparing 3 versus 4, and therefore this one is bigger, and that's all. Hence the comparison. They want you to compare a plus b, they want you to compare a plus 5 versus b plus 5. Since 5 appears in both columns, I'm going to just cross it out. So basically they want you to compare a versus b. Which one is bigger, or if they're equal, is what they want you to find out. So let's figure it out. Now I'm going to do one thing at a time. Let's just do the first part first, this part here. Now I'm going to tell you, now let's do something else here. Now I'm going to tell you that I'm holding one quantity in my hand. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Let's call it x. I'm holding x in my hand. I'm not telling you what it is. I'm not telling you what x equals to. And then I tell you that I'm holding in this hand a y. And then I tell you that when I multiply these two quantities, x and y, when I multiply them, x and y, I'm telling you that when I multiply these two quantities, I get a 0. I get a 0. What do you gather from that? What do you infer from that? What do you surmise from it? What do you surmise from it? Well, what you gather from it is that since the product of the two numbers is 0, there are three possible scenarios. One possible scenario is that there are three possible scenarios. One is that x is equal to 0. If x were equal to 0, then 0 times y would be 0. No matter what, doesn't matter what the y is. Another possibility is that y is equal to 0. And then of course final possibility is that they are both equal to 0. Both x and y are equal to 0. So here I have two quantities. This quantity times this quantity equals 0. That tells me that either a plus 5 is equal to 0 or a minus 5 is equal to 0. If a plus 5 are 0, that will imply that a equals negative 5. If a minus 5 is 0, let me put this is getting too crowded, and I'm also getting too paranoid about the time. Just give me a second. Yes, I have already taken 5 minutes. Either a plus 5 is 0, in which case a would equal to negative 5, or a minus 5 is 0. In which case, a would be positive 5. And the same exact thing will apply with B, because it's the same scenario. Instead of A plus 5 and A plus 5 and A minus 5, we have B plus 5 and B minus 5, which means same thing applies. Either B is equal to 0, sorry, B is equal to positive 5, or B is equal to negative 5. But we don't know which, but this scenario of both being equal to 0 would not apply here. This scenario would not apply here. The third scenario does not apply here because A cannot be at the same time positive 5 and negative 5. It has to be either this or this. You see? Either this or this. It cannot be both at the same time. So this last scenario does not apply here, because we're talking about the same quantity A, that is. Here, of course, it was a different story. There was an X and Y. Here it's just A, both places. This is A plus 5 and this is A plus 5. So the last one does not apply. Now, because we do not know whether A is positive 5 or negative 5, and similarly, because we do not know whether B is positive 5 or negative 5, if A were positive 5 and B were positive 5, the answer would have been C. If they were both negative, the answer would have been C. But if this is positive and this is negative, the answer would be A. If this is negative and this is positive, the answer would be B. We do not know. We do not know whether A is positive 5 or negative 5. We do not know whether B is positive 5 or negative 5. And therefore the correct answer is D. And that's all. That's all it is. Now I'm going to redo the whole problem. I'm going to, let's see, where are we? I guess that's it, we're done. Answer is D. That's all. I was rushing for no reason at all. I was confused between this question and I was solving number 13, but I thought I was solving number 15. I was busy. Anyway, this is it. Because we do not know what's going on, which quantity is when, which variable assumes which value when, therefore we do not know which one is bigger or if they're equal. A could be positive 5, A could be negative 5, B could be positive 5, B could be negative 5. If both A and B happen to be of the same sign, the answer would be C. If they're both positive, answer would be C. If they're both negative, answer would be C again. If both negative 5, answer would be C again. If they are of the opposite sign, then answer is going to be either A or B. Because of the conflict, the correct answer is D. That's all. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, face-to-face tutoring, or online tutoring, or through the phone, I do consultation over the phone. If you wish to get hold of me, go to my website at www.for4gre.com and send me an email. All right? Or you can go to www.KeshwaniPrep.com and send me an email. All right? Thank you.